and no real danger so far. The weave thrown out, just trying to deter Eom a little bit at least. The tracks keep on piling in. 3 heroes now tracked. Once you get the first, like, good luck stuffing the next 2.
The big news though for Secret is that eHome have a pretty terrible pushing lineup.
Force step in, they're going to start the fight that way. Lanham looking for the plays to begin it, but it's S4, and he's a little tanky. RTK says, let's go, let's go. Zai is going to be the first man. At the same moment, CTY jumps her on the backside. He looks to blow up the main off the bat, but the men from Arteezy keeps him alive. RTK was kept alive as well. These defensive support plays making a difference, and now the egg, Boulder Ridge going to kill it off, but they do barely, just barely. Arteezy will pop like a pinata. He's down for 90. It's a buyback again. The sleeps and the saves from DDC make it a storm, and they're diving forward. CTY, life number 2. It's a 5-man wipe. eHome. It's been a miraculous comeback for them. Very well played, and they're not done just yet. They track S4. Arteezy and S4 fighting against the world, but any moment now they could get jumped in. And the eHome chants erupt. We might be in Key Arena, but you wouldn't know it from how hyped this crowd is. S4, the next man jump. It's CTY again and again. He might even go for more here. Objectives. Objectives is the call. Take the racks first. Celebrate the kills later. And that was, well, a 10,000 gold swing, and it might just be the game here. Secret, 3 down for 20, and eHome aren't afraid at all. Continuing to muscle in, press up on the racks, threatening to go into Arteezy at any moment. He's being forced back just by some Wyvern harass while they take down 2 lanes of racks. Secret in grave danger of dropping their first game here on the main stage against a team that came in as an underdog for most.
I mean, we've been talking about CTY this entire game, but YJ has kind of quietly snuck in with a fully 6-slotted gyrocopter at the same time.
It's just not as flashy of a hero.
Yeah, you don't really notice it, but at the same time,
it's a lot of damage.
It's a lose-lose situation for Secret because they're worrying so much on the Storm Spirit, but meanwhile, at the same time, the gyrocopter's at the top of the net worth chart.
It feels like these fights are at the point now where even if one hero gets killed, like even if Secret manages to snipe the egg, it doesn't matter because then they're not killing the Storm, then they're not killing the gyro, and then they still lose the fight. And if they focus on the cores, the egg goes off, you lose the fight that way.
Those are the BM Daggons.
Oh, the BM Daggons coming out now.
That's level 4 too.
And considering the way Lanham was hunted throughout this game,
yeah, he's pretty pissed.
It's a pretty good Dagon 4. I mean, normally he'd say this is late, but Lanham will take it.
They can smell blood. I mean, if there's any signal that eHome know they have this game wrapped up, it's the fact that it decides to go for the level 4 Dagon. Supremely confident right now.
BKBs are dropping low now in terms of duration.
Yeah, okay.
Dagon gets stronger late game.
He could buy a Hex.
They have an Orchid, okay,
Blitz? He could buy a Hex.
Touche.
Alright, Secret, they're going to go for the GG.
This is the desperation smoke. Do they get the initiation they're searching for? It could be a great winner's curse. DDC's going to hold it. They go into DYF as well. And they keep Arteezy in position. The egg's there in the middle of everything, and nobody's focusing it. And Sword's going to go down. Puppy on the run. It goes off. Kaboom! And Zai next. He's surrounded. There's the GG. But Secret will die before they can get out of this game. Another 5-man wipe. And a devastating takedown on our second match of the day.
And what a game it was. That Storm Spirit, that's what I'm talking about. The Storm plus Bounty Hunter combo, you really can't underestimate that in Secret. I mean, they just kind of look stunned right now.
eHome's got a large and very vocal fan base here. I was not expecting that, but man, they really stepped up for their fans, and the fans really appreciating it. Secret, certainly this is a veteran team, but they do drop game 1 here. And this is not a team that wants to drop down to the lower bracket at this stage of the event. There are big expectations for them.
No, not at all. And I'm honestly not surprised that people are such big fans of eHome. They've got remnants of that DK team that was so popular in LANAM. You've got ROTK. I mean, after his story, his second place finish last year.
Everybody loves ROTK now.
Yeah, there's nowhere that really dislikes.
If you don't, I question whether or not you have a heart at that point.
Yeah, but great game played by eHome from start to finish. They just kept looking for it.
Well, with that, we're going to hand it back to the analysts, see what they have to think. Red Eye, take it away.
Thank you very much. Yes, back here on the analysis desk, there's some stunned faces right now and a cheesy grin from Malidi because he just can't quite believe what he's just seen. Seb, what on earth was that?
Well, you know, I said it during the draft, and I really thought it was, to me, I have the biggest respect for all the players in Secret. I think they're going to bounce back for sure, but that was, to me, the biggest outpick of the tournament so far. And they drafted, and I know what I'm talking about because I used to draft lineups like this. It's when you're confident that you're better than the other team and you know that you're going to win the lane if you're giving the chance to, and then you're going to keep on outplaying them, that type of lineup can work. But if you actually do a couple of mistakes, just one mistake is going to lose you the game because you're not even close to be able to fight them. You know, your team fight potential is not here. They couldn't outpush lanes at all, and that's something Secret usually emphasizes a lot. They had Spiritbreaker can do it. Dazzle does it in a way, but he's not the best. You know, Viper doesn't do anything. Bane doesn't do anything. So what eHome had to do, just get the Storm, the Phoenix, and the Winter Wyvern to just outpush the 3 lanes, you know, and wait, keep on farming until you decide that you can actually win the game. And it was quite easy for them.
Malini, explain to us, for the noobs amongst us, how does a game like that looks so dominant early on from Secret, much more, far ahead in every way, how does that turn around so significantly to eHome?
I was doubting the Viper pick at the get-go. It was really strong for their lanes, but they had almost no disables to stop the Phoenix. They had no control for the Winter Wyvern, and yes, they won the lanes. They got a lot of kills. RTZ got really farmed, and then it just took a couple of fights, and that's why we talked about, Secret tend to draft AoE, because AoE is king. And they had the Winter's Curse, the Egg combo, and ROTK didn't even play that well on the Phoenix for the first 10 minutes, and then at that mid-fight, we're like, what kind of egg is that? And then we're like, the Winter's Curse. And they really comboed that really well. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more of that. It's kind of like the egg plus Trant combo that we've seen before. This is a new twist.
And things were decent for Secret because Arteezy played out of his mind and he solo killed the Storm, and that was the first solo kill of that event, in the main stage. But without that, it would have been even worse,
Alan, statistically, they'd only killed 1 career in the group stage, killed 2 in the same game, but that wasn't really the best stats amongst them. Just everything about eHome in that late game was great.
I mean, one of the most fun things I think that there is as a sports fan of any sport is you get to see these young players grow up on the main stage. And watching CTY in that game, we all knew that he was just an amazing technical player. We all knew that he was a great laner. But to see him just take over a game like that against Team Secret on the main stage at TI5, that was amazing. And I don't think I've watched a bunch of games now with these guys here at the event the first couple of days, and we haven't yelled that loud during a match. That was absolutely amazing. Those fans in there back in eHome, 100%.
Yeah. And Winter, the fans actually, chanting eHome is fantastic to hear, isn't it, when they're getting behind their own team. And I think LD said, he didn't expect there to be quite such vocal support for eHome, and yet there is in there. That has to be helping them for the second game.
Yeah, I mean, people love the way the eHome ran the strategy. It was something refreshing. We don't get to see Phoenix plus Wyvern a lot. And during the early game as well, like we were talking about, ROTK had a couple of bad eggs, and like the bottom fight where he just popped level 6 and he tried to go in, he missed the slow, and the fight near the Roshan pit, he really wished that he actually had a mango because he didn't have mana. He didn't have mana for it. So there were a couple of plays that were almost cost them the whole game, but the fight that actually turned the game was the fight at the jungle where they caught a 3-man Winter's Curse, and they were actually like around 8,000 gold behind at that point, and it actually tells you how strong eHome's lineup, because you are able to take a fight being so much far behind, but you're still able to take a fight.
Yeah, I think we can we can take a look at that actually, because I think as soon as you pointed it out, let's actually take a look at that part of the game, and you can walk us through it on the screen.
Winter, I wanted to give ROTK a new nickname, Bad Egg, in Chinese.
There we go.
And here's why they picked the Winter Wyvern versus SF, because you completely nullify his effect on his BKB, and then the BKB runs out, and he has to deal with the Phoenix Egg, but he can't anymore. He has to run out. He tries to turn, but he can't, and they just run away, and there's no run away versus Bounty Storm. You're all gonna die, and all the track gold, it's a devastating loss for Secret. And that's a lot due to the Winter Wyvern, and it was first pick SF into Winter Wyvern.
Yeah. I mean, they were really able to control the positioning of the SF in a lot of these fights by using those AoE skills.
I mean, they only needed to lose one big fight, and that was like a lot of track kills too. Yeah. And they had really clean play. They had the BKB on SF, and then just that one thing, and then the mid fight, and then it just kept on going and going. And also, they snuck that Roshan. Secret was like right around. I actually thought eHome were going to take it for free, but that was like giving CTY an Aegis right there.
And all this, I mean, Kuro made some spectacular nightmare saves as well. I mean, there's some great plays by Secret, but just wasn't enough.
Secret played incredible, but it was just about the draft strategies more than.
If you get to say this team played incredible, but yet again, the game just went so far behind after a certain point. You know how far, like the draft didn't really work for
exactly. As a team, when you want to blame the draft, it's when you're like, we played really well and we did one thing wrong, and suddenly the game was super hard. Then you need to look at the draft. Something must be wrong with it. But they also analyze it themselves, because you never see a Shadow Fiend get Boots of Travel that early. And he got it because he had to. Because he was the only one that could outpush lanes. So he had to be everywhere at the same time. And the best way to get close to that is to actually buy the bots.
Yeah, we were even discussing about how many Shadow Fiends in that situation would have actually gotten a Boots of Travel. Which is like, probably RTZ would be the only one like realizing that this situation is not good for us. We need someone to be split pushing a lot. Like, they understand the game way better.
Yeah, he's not only mechanically good, he's very smart. And his understanding of, because, you know, we're sitting here, we're watching, so it's very easy for us to sometimes spot a threat or something. But when you're playing live, means he's, you know, it's next level.
No, I mean, I think I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. That, I mean, Secret played phenomenally just to give themselves a chance in this game, and they had some great decision making. I will guarantee you guys one thing. I would bet a large sum of money. Secret aren't getting outdrafted two games in a row. eHome are going to need to play at this level and higher to knock them down to the losers bracket.
Does Puppy look at this and think, a little bit of humility here, maybe we went a bit greedy in that first draft, let's do something different?
I think it was a good approach from the games that we saw from eHome. It's like, okay, win the lanes, and then given Secret's like tendency to take control Roche and push high ground, I think it was a fine draft for the way they played.
Okay. And in terms of Secret, Seb was saying earlier on that he felt that it's the sort of draft that you make when you're confident that you're going to win the game. But that didn't win out now, so does that change things for the second game?
Yes, I think going in the first game, though, it was fine. Going in the second game, they have to change it up.
It's just one-dimensional, you know, mainly. Their lineup just now was very one-dimensional. Usually you don't see that so much from Secret.
Like, they will draft a lineup with a plan B and a plan C this time. You know, they're not going to draft themselves into a corner because they don't need to.
The two teams met back at Mars TV. It was a 2-0 on that occasion from Secret. Was there anything we can take from that we can use now, again, that Secret can use against them?
I think, you know, Secret is that good of a team. Like, they lost the game rather than that they got beaten by eHome. I'm not saying eHome played spectacular, but I think Secret can just look at their plays and their draft and the approach they had to the game, regardless of the team they're facing. You know, they're always going to face a strong team, and it's up to them to bounce back, and I'm pretty sure they will.
Complacency is a dangerous thing. We know that. We've seen teams in the past go down that probably should have won. LGD springs to mind in the past. Would you think there might have been a little bit of that, Alan, in that last game?
I don't know.
Before the draft, I'm talking about, more than actually in the game itself.
I mean, I thought Secret wagered more than they needed to on winning their lanes and winning their lanes hard. I mean, they really needed every bit of that 7.5K gold advantage that they had when we watched our first replay there. And you could just see, you know, right after the fight, the first thing Ben says is, let me see that graph. Because you could just see that trend immediately reverse. And really, Secret just never was in the lead thereafter, even though on paper they had the gold advantage. It just felt like the game completely slipped away. But like I say, this is a team, like we said for EG, they have an incredible degree of flexibility. They learn from their mistakes. Expect something totally different in game two.
Okay, Winter, you're now newly appointed the team captain for eHome. They're going to switch one player out and put you in, and you're going to do the draft. What do you pick? Where do you go? How do you draft against Secret?
I think I would just keep the same mentality, going very heavy team fight focus and just going for like somewhat good lanes as well. You don't want to lose the lanes too hard and just focus on having very heavy team fight. That's where you shine as a team, because eHome are very good at taking team fights, and if you win a team fight against Secret and you have somewhat decent lanes,